Hi, I am Antonio Jackson. Here's my piece on the discussion number 8. Where we had to read the article, Still Missing Female Business Leaders, and the compare it to the um, narrative portrait in the text that we had to read. Um, First, I'll start with the narrative portrait. It was something that it's kind of something that we all know. It's 2016, so we've seen it for years and years. But I think some of the things that were um, put into that kind of um, brings out why maybe the things are still like they are. Um, Women are starting, to work a broader range of jobs. They're going to colleges. They're getting the education, so they're not like it used to be. They're not um, stay-at-home moms as much. They're not. They still are. Doing the things that they do at home, like being a nurturer to the kids and things of that such. But they're choosing different careers than have been chosen, and I think that is what is bringing the women, more even, especially in the workforce at least, to men than it has ever been. They still have their basic jobs. They're really high in those. They're nurses, your teachers, your dental assistants. But now they're starting to do more things. Like they're starting to be doctors. They're starting to be lawyers. Professors. So they're doing things that back in the day they didn't take it to that level. So it is kind of even out the playing field um, within the workforce. And yes, the men are using their privilege of being a man, period, um, to keep that an unbalanced playing field. So when it talked about a couple things in the reading in the book, and it was saying that when the narrative portrait, it was two little things that they put out of the 15 that really stood out to me. The one that said that you could be loud without fear of being called shrew, aggressive without fear of being called a bitch. If that's the white privilege of being a male, then I guess that is what it is. But I guess that's how they uh, portray themselves. Um, then the other one that said they have the privilege of being unaware of my male privilege, and that's something that also that's in the world, that's in society today. Everybody kind of take care of themselves. All the guys, all the white guys, they stick to them. They'll hire their friends or they'll hire this person because they know them, just because to keep that very mentality intact. Like the more and more of them they get together and they kind of watch each other's back, and they kind of, if there's an opportunity for one of them to be promoted, they use their white privilege, and that's the way it's always been. So it's not changing very much. Um, the women are being not given the opportunities that they are just because they are female. They say that they'll miss work because of pregnancies, or they start a family and they really can't put the amount of time in that men can because they have to focus on their families and things of that such, which is not fair. But that's how it is. That's one of those white male privileges that they use. Um, when they talked about the article, it said like 14% of the top five in the S&P 500. Um, that's just the top five in like leadership position, not CEOs, just the leadership all throughout, um, all levels of leadership up high. It talked about it being only um, 24 women out of the 500, and that's not a very high percentage. So it is saying that they use that white male privilege to kind of pick and choose who they want to let in, and kind of also keep the women to where at the level they are. They're hoping they'll be satisfied where they are, where they won't want to continue to move up to that number one spot. It said that in 2000, it said it increased 5% from 2000 to 2013. It's certain things that that, like I said, they'll continue to keep that number as low as they can. It talked about like Germany attempting to mandate the number of seats that are occupied by women. I don't think that's a good idea because then you get into the thing to where you're only being there because you're a woman, or then just because you're a woman you get that seat and you might not be qualified as that man. Just for instance, not saying that that'd be the situation, but if you get it where it mandates that you have to have a woman in this position, then that's where you get into issues of that such. I looked into like what's going on in present day, and it talked about in the S&P Global Market Intelligence. It says that in 2015 there were 22 CEOs, not upper level management, just CEOs. So there's 22 in 2015, and as of 2016 there were 27. So that's like a 5%, 5.5%. So it is going up. It's going in the right direction. So they are using their white male influence to kind of hinder the progress of women. But as you can see by those stats, that women are continuing to push forward and to obtain that top position, not just top level position, but the number one position. So I hope they continue to do that. And my question will be to women that pertaining both of these, like if you knowing that the top level consumed all of your life, all of your time, would you still consider doing that, knowing that you can't spend time with your family, take care of your kids? Would you sacrifice things like that? Some would, some wouldn't. Or if they gave you a position only because you was a woman, would you accept that? So that is my discussion, and thank you.